We're going to try to remove the ancient but slightly awesome block heater here, and let's hope for the best. That is fairly tight. Oh my, can't believe it. It's turning. I've not seen this style before. We bought a frost plug, or a core plug, I guess. I'll stop calling them frost plugs because they're not for that. But just grew up calling them frost plugs. They're core plugs. I think we should point out, best part of this whole scene is I'm using my crescent wrench. That was a heck of a garage sale find. I think I paid $5 for this thing. I couldn't believe it. Now what happens is it fall inside the engine. I have no idea how to get this out actually. But I thought it might just fall out if you loosened enough stuff. Look at that. Look at all that. That is such a quality thing. Like, you cannot buy a block heater that good. Look at that. I bet you it works. There's no reason to believe it wouldn't. Well, car's not getting driven in the winter. But that weighs 3 pounds. What a nice thing. Let's see if we can get the new guy in there without any disasters. Wow, that looks tight. That's how they're done, yeah. I don't know what the sealer policy is on these things, but I don't think it's gonna hurt. Might just help it install more smoothly. Because we're getting ready for the big paint job. That's what I'm looking forward to. That's the most fun to me. Going to clean this out with a little sandpaper. Okay. How do we think we're going to get that in there now? I'll just push it in by hand. No, maybe not. Okay, now we're getting somewhere. Okay, that's in. 100%. 100% success. Let's wipe that off. Yeah, we had to put a big dent in it, just like the other ones, see? Big. So that's how they're pushed in. Just when you hit them with a punch, they get a tiny bit smaller, or at least they get scared, one of the two, then they go in. So we got oil filter mount we just put on. That's done. That's done. I think the next thing, let's put the oil pan on. This is not the final installation on the oil pan, but I need something to run it in. So we're going to take the good pan off whatever engine comes out of the other cars, and then we're going to swap that onto here. But meanwhile, at least we can break the engine in, and we've got something to fill up with oil and test the oil pressure system. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to glue the gasket to the block but not to the pan. That way we can always just swap pans without ruining the gasket, because I only have one. So that's kind of what passes for my plan today. Okay, that's good enough. It's just so that when we take the pan off, that the gasket stays on the engine. Just makes it easier to get the new one on. Okay, thank you. Let's see, maybe it'll just hang on the oil pump. That'd be nice. Oh, not quite. Da, 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 da. Okay. Pan, thank you. 2 bolts.
Yep.
Okay, one more. Oh, I can get them. Okay. Not even going to tighten them up very much because we're taking this pan off. Okay, that's good enough. Okay, one more. Oh, maybe we do not. Did it come with a washer in the new kit? Wouldn't that be something? Here we go. After many hours of cleaning and picking and wire brushes and blowing and soaking and cleaning some more and cleaning some more, finally have the cleanest intake manifold I have ever owned. Okay. I just hear Ashley in my head, put some oil on the bolt. So fine. Okay, let's see what happens. Okay, that's where we're going to leave the old Nailhead for today. I'm very excited. Next time around, I was going to put the distributor in, but we're not going to do that until I try the oil pump. That's why these aren't on permanently yet. We're going to pull the valve covers and spin the oil pump and make sure we've got oil coming through everything. I guess we'll probably have to get a filter first. Otherwise the oil is going to go right onto the wall there. But that's very good. So we're really just waiting on a water pump. There's looking like there's a day's fiddling left on this, and then we got to start bothering Dan to see if we can use his engine stand to run this baby in. I'm pretty excited. I don't get to do a lot of engine stuff, mostly just pound dents out of stuff, kinda. And this will be a fun one for me. And then we can get on to the other parts of the car this summer, which is everything else, I guess. So in the very near future, we'll be running the 364 in, I hope, at Dan's, and then we have to figure out what we're going to do for transmission. What do you got today, Frankers? Looks like it's a Monarch Ultra M G7815. Just the thing for the Packard. Yeah, digging through the old tire shed, found this old Monarch tire, and we were looking at Dean's race car Packard here, and it seems to be developing a flat tire all on its own. And since it's a pretty shamey truck radial, I thought, let's get something presentable on there. Hey, Dean?
Yeah.
Looks like somebody's been loosening the bolts there.
Well, yeah, look at that, man.
A little bit of sabotage.
Sabotage crew over there.
Yeah, I think Ashley and Justin were at it there.
Oh, I bet you.
One of them's gone altogether.
Oh, no.
Boy, you're lucky you weren't killed at high speeds there,
Yeah,
eh?
that's right, eh? Wow.
You're going probably 25 miles an hour. Could have been a disaster. We need this particular rim. These Packards have a 5-on-5 pattern, like a GM truck. So when I got this car, it had no wheels on it, so I went to the junkyard and I found these GM truck wheels, and that's the tire that's still on this thing 10 years later, and now it leaks. So let's get something presentable on there. Oh, there's the host of the show. Aren't you gonna do any of the work there, Mini Frankers? Nope. Just gonna watch Dean. Okay, it's like there. NASCAR time here.
Yeah. Oh, good.
They're not very happy.
No, they're not.
Okay, well, that's not a happy tire either.
Dig into the tire shop, I guess?
Yeah, and we'll put the one that's coming off right into the back of the truck. That's garbage.
Okay.
Hey, your muffler's hanging low, Dean.
I better buy a new one.
You better take it in for exhaust right away. What do you got there? They coming?
Yeah.
Oh, good.
Radial's how we're going to work.
Yeah, they're not nearly so raunchy. Did I forget the tire? I did too. I'll be right back. Dumbass. Here we go. Tire time.
Tire time.
We should be teaching Frankers how to do the tires, not just be the host.
Whoa. We could do this. We could
do this. Let's go.
Hey guys, welcome to My Classic Tire. I'm really glad to be co-host today on this show. Scott and I actually did a lot of work today getting this neat old Monarch 5-ply tire all cleaned up and ready to go for my racing Packard. I was impressed to see this tire because it's like, at first glance, it's in really, really good shape. But we did have some struggles along the way, I will admit. It's an Ultra M78 by Monarch, and it's a G7815, right, I had to look. But
Don't tell them what the hubcap is.
oh, okay, I won't.
The funny thing is, people who watch this show will actually know that.
Oh, yes, good. Let's
Right.
hear what they have to say.
And what does that say about you guys?
Yeah, sad bastards.
Too bad, not weathered at all, but
Punctured. Two punctured and tire punctured, guys. And here comes the star.
Hey, Fraggers, nice of you to show up. Would you tell everybody about the tire, please? Yes, it's very nice, as are you.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for all the info on that, yes. Oh, thank you. Thank you for spearheading another fantastic episode of Classic Tire with your host, Frankers. Always. Hey, did you see how she mailed it in on the tire chase today?
That was cool.
She didn't even care. She ran in front of the tire. She just ran to you. It's going to be a lot more appropriate than the truck tires that are on it.
Yeah.
This show should be called I Have So Much of This Shit.
Yeah.
Let's make a show about the garbage that people throw away that you bring home. So, I don't know. I'm guessing early 70s, mid 70s.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
No, you can't have
It
that.
could even be a little newer than that. As usual, My Classic Tire, the most carefully researched 5 minutes on the internet today.
At least it's there together now. Like,
That's right. At least there's a happy ending.
it's a happy ending, yes.
That's good, because there can't be a tragic Classic Tire episode.
I'm at the point where I'm actually seeing them and buying them on Marketplace and
Yeah, I
stuff.
know, and then you're
like,
flipping them all to me, you pirate.
I do flip
Dean
sometimes.
has flipped
I'll
so
flip,
many
yeah.
tires to me.
Yeah, I'll flip. That's true, actually. I have, yeah. Okay, so we're wrapping up the My Classic Tire.
That was perfect.
I love
Sorry, I laughed.
That was good. Yeah, thanks for joining us on My Classic Tire. I'm glad you guys had... Let's do that again.
No, that's not.
Come on,
No,
Dean.
come on.
Wrecking the
How
hubcap
can
like
you
an
be better than
idiot.
that?
Like, that's... Thanks for joining us today on My Classic Tire. This was a lot of fun today. We had a great time doing this. It was a struggle, but...
Sometimes it got a bit too serious.
Yeah. Yeah, I did my part
Frankers'
already.
butt says, thanks for watching My Classic Tire.
Yeah, we're okay now.
Great. Zing them up. We don't have a lot, but...
Yeah.
Let her down, Captain,
Yeah.
right? Yeah, that's good.
Yeah,
to
we're
go.
okay.
That's totally fine. That's how it was when you were racing it. Okay, where's Puppy? She's out of the way.
Yep. Come on. You did it.
Don't hurt your hand.
She's still sticking out a little bit at the top.
That's alright. It's an old piece of crap.
It's an old piece of crap.
Look at that.
That looks
Oh,
nice.
that looks way better.
Oh, yeah. Classy, eh? Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
Well,
yeah. She's looking...
That's an improvement.
It is an improvement. Yeah, we...
Definitely an improvement. Hey, Frankers. Say thanks for watching Classic Tire today. What a good girl. Hey guys, a treat for everybody today. Myles has recorded a certain amount of the reassembly of his 401 Buick engine, and obviously he's building a slightly more performance-oriented version of the Nailhead engine than I am. Mine's more or less just going to be happy that it runs. Anyhow, I thought it would be great to present that here, and thank you so much to Myles for going out of his way. I know how much time it adds to film stuff, and very much appreciated, buddy.
Okay, since we got the heads mostly prepared, I thought I'd start on blending the intake into the heads. And you can kind of see that the gasket has quite a bit of play, which is unfortunate. Try to figure out a way to do that, maybe just simply by using a thicker bolt. Doesn't look like it'll go through the gasket though. It's kind of tight. Anyway, maybe we'll just try to make sure the gasket sits to the inside when we mount it. You can see here there's a good 1/8 of an inch to remove on the outside, a little bit to remove from the inside. Same, there's about an 1/8 on the inside, 1/8 on the inside. You can see where the rust was coming through this port. It looks awful inside there. We're going to clean all that up. And the final port, good 1/8 on the outside. So I'm going to get a marker and just mark those up a little and peel that gasket off, and we're going to get to town on beating the hell out of these and see how it goes. Looks like there was water coming in the backside there too, so I just put a little marker around the inside so it shows me the material that I can go ahead and remove now without worrying about the gasket not sealing again. So we'll get started on that, do a little gasket matching first, and then we'll dig ourselves into that tunnel and see what we can do to clean that up and smooth that out. Okay, we're about an hour in. I went through with my short bit here, this guy. He cuts really well. I've used it a lot on different cast iron components, and it does well as a first stage. And then I save my long bits so they don't get dull too fast for working their way inside. So you can see there's quite a bit of material just kind of sitting around in there. And this rusty guy all cleaned up. And we can throw the gasket back on there. All the material around the gasket is gone, just a little bit left in the corners. I wasn't sure about this guy because it was rusty and I couldn't quite see my marker line, so I can put a new marker line on that. Get that out of there. I think we're going to install them like so. So there's a little bit more material I can take out of there. So I'll put a new marker line on here. And we'll clean up that little bit there. Okay, we'll clean up a little more around here. And then I'm going to work my way on the inside turn and take as much material away as I can, just so the air can do that quick turn easily without causing turbulence. So that's what we're going to work on a little bit. Let's switch bits and see how much further we can get inside those ports. And you see those lines down there, yeah, those are rough. My bit can only do so much, so we're going to work those a little bit to make that a lot smoother. Just thought I would take a pause here before I get started on this next port. This is just with the first short bit that's kind of coarse. It does cut pretty fast, but you can see the ridges that it leaves behind. And then I jump over to my long small bit. Let me just show it to you here. This guy with that rounded head, and perhaps I'm being a little more careful too, a little more gentle, but you can see a significant difference in the smoothness of the port. And I just wanted to kind of show that off there before I moved on to the next one here and started taking all this out. Okay, so that's the finish after my first two cutting bits. See, everything's kind of nicely hogged out in there, cleaned up. There's no curves to those walls, or they're definitely reduced. come in, reduce turns, flatten the walls. Lots of no gasket getting in the way there. So now I'm gonna go ahead and hit it with 40 grit to clean that up and smoothen things a little bit more, and then we'll hit it again with some 80 grit. So here we go. Okay, I just wanted to try and show a contrast. I've gone through the intake and hit all the ports with the 40 grit, and substantial difference with the 40. These two ports now have 80 grit, and I was going to try and show you the difference, but I don't think I'm going to be able to. Anyway, the 80 grit is of course smoother, so these are going to be looking pretty sweet by the time I'm done. Okay, that's the intake cleaned up. Got in there as far as I could with my long bits. Cleaned the walls, and floor, sides. There was really bad machining on the ports into the intake, so I've gone ahead and cleaned all those walls up. And I cleaned the floor as much as I could, but working perpendicularly with the die grinder does not work very well, so it's going to have to do. And we'll flip it over here, and you can see all the ports are cleaned up as far as I could get in there. So that should help. Everything gasket matched to the heads, so everything should flow really nicely. Better than the factory anyway. Nice big square intake ports. It's pretty impressive. I'm anxious to see what this engine will put out. Alright, that's another day. Okay, time to get on throwing some rings on these guys. And yeah, you can see the oil rings are still on there. They're brand new. These have not had any use at all. It's sad that the couple top rings were already busted, so. And then my wounded guy, I'm getting that fixed next week. Anyway, got ourselves a little workstation set up here. Gonna spend the night doing a quick clean on these guys and installing the rings back on. Tomorrow I'm picking up ARP rod bolts, hopefully, and dropping the piston off to get repaired. So yeah, that's tonight. Let's get after it. Not sure if I earlier illustrated just how clean these pistons are, and this is not me. Like, sure, I threw them through a quick solvent bath and just kind of brushed them a little bit, but someone has gone in and done this engine and done it well. It looks great. It's saving me hours of cleaning time. Yes, I am going forward. I saw the error of my ways. I am changing those oil rings with the new guys. Might as well, for the amount of effort I'm putting in, start with all new rings. So yeah, easy night. Easy night. Okay, all done. Easy night. Fly through that. We'll get our shiny new friend done this week, hopefully, and we can put the rear bottom assembly back together. Today's adventure is to prep the surface of the block here and hope that it's somewhat square. The theory is you're less likely to warp your block and more likely to warp the heads. So I have the heads being planed. I did check them. There was a 5 thou warpage right in this space. So I'm hoping to go with high compression thin steel head gasket, and if my math is right, it'll bump my compression about 0.43 a point over the regular Felpro 40 thou crush. So there's power on the table and we're not leaving it there. But in order to use them, you have to make sure that your surfaces are very close to square, if not perfect. And we can get the heads nicely squared, so we've got that covered for a minor fee, I hope. And I'm going to manually just try to prep this today. So I'm going to give it a wipe with some wax and grease remover, get all the oil and everything off them, and then get to town with my straight edge file and some 600 grit. So let's see how that goes. So using a straight edge across the block, I am not able to slide the .0015 feeler gauge under the straight edge on either of these. And these are your most likely, this is your most likely area to warp. So this is the one you need to worry about as far as the boys have told me. So I think I'm good. I'm not going to worry about that too much more. Flip it over to the other side and just clean it up a little better. Okay, I went through, used the file, took it all down, cleaned it all off with a little wax and grease remover, and then used my straight edge horizontally here across the block. And again, I cannot slide the .0015 feeler gauge underneath this, the hot spots here in the middle of the cylinders. So again, I'm thinking we're pretty close to square, and we're going to live with it for the new head gasket. Well, it seems like we have a problem, or we have had a problem in the past. Oil sump installed without a gasket right now, because I believe we should have more clearance than at least just a gasket. But check this out. Looks like one of the oil pump shafts have been coming in contact with this crankshaft. You can see that surface right there. And the shaft that's right there. Like, what the hell is going on here? Weight comes back up and gets very close to that shaft. And if you look on the crank here, you see obvious contact pattern. So what the hell? I don't think I've ever seen an oil pump come into contact, unless that has something to do with the pan being crushed. And if that had happened, I would think that this rod would bend to take the crush of the pan down on top of this, bend here, rather than push this cast iron housing down into the crankshaft. Like, no way am I buying that one. But there's something weird going on here for sure, and we're gonna have to inspect it a little closer just to figure out what the hell it is and why. Okay, I checked out, slammed a feeler gauge in there. I can verify that the 009 fit in between those gaps right there, and the 10 thou did not. So I don't know, is that time to worry? You get a 9 thou lash gap? I don't know. We're going to run it as is and see what happens. Well, it's definitely taken a hit at some point and bent that flange down. We'll have to just straighten that out a little bit before we carry on, but it didn't really affect how it performed, but it definitely took a hit. Cleaned up, looks good. All right, there it is. Cleaned up, stuck back together. Moves very, very well. I don't think we're going to have any problem with that at all. Everything's in its place. Ready to go for another 70 years or 50 years or whatever it is. So yeah, this little guy, I did clearance it just a little bit in case the shaft rotates. I don't think it can rotate. Okay, here's my starter. Things are moving inside, so that's something. I don't expect to have any difficulty with this thing at all, and I don't have much experience with taking these apart. But if I'm going to hang around this crew, I might as well get used to it. So we're going to tear into this thing. And if I really go sideways, then I know someone I can call. Just want to try it as is and see how it goes. Should it have a hole in the side like that? I don't know. But I'm going to open it up and clean it up first was always happy to open up an engine and clean it first before I run it, and I think that'll pay off here too. So let's get after it. Okay, there you have it. Starter disassembled. Not sure, because I haven't been inside one of these myself before. I'm not sure if that's a lot of brush life left, but that's what I've got, and I'm sure it's going to work just fine. So there's a lot of dirt, like a lot of dirt inside this guy. So I'm going to go through and clean it all up, put a little shine on this guy again. But I would say this starter was not cleaned when the engine was done. It's just my guess, but who knows. Anyway, I got some shit work in front of me, so time to get to it. Okay, as usual, I forgot to pick up the camera, so you guys are missing out on tonight's activities. But you see a torque wrench in action. It looks like most of the rods are in there. We have gone ahead and installed the bottom end, lubed up the rings, installed pistons, put assembly lube on everything, and we are just delayed, missing one piston to finish up number 8, but that is hopefully ready for us next week. We can button that up and carry on. God, you got to do the whole thing tonight, eh? Rotate the engine, torque the rods. I'm just standing around with the phone in my hand. It's pretty awesome. Phone. Oh, PH. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, feels good though. Everything's really slick. Of course, again, these engines seem to have a lot of friction to their bottom end, but we'll see if it's the same as Scott's, because I have a rear main seal that's been run for a short period of time, and Scott has a new one which I think is a large portion of his friction, so we could be a little better off. Guess we'll see. So we're doing this in 3 stages: 25, 35 to an end, 45 pounds on the rod bolts. I was going to do ARP rod bolts, but after talking to my buddy who runs a building shop, I would be required to resize all the rod ends, and that just adds a bunch more money to our build. And I don't think it's necessary. This was obviously a running motor before it fell into my hands, so it's just getting it clean and back together. Yeah, fun night. We'll bag this thing and wait for our piston next week.
Okay, next evening, so we'd have a quick look now that this thing's dry. There we go. Looks pretty good. Pretty happy with that. And again, I think a testament to what you can achieve in a few days if you've got good friends and a certain amount of sandpaper. That is going to look very nice. Can't wait to put it all together. It's hard to make a Renault 5 look sinister, but the black one is the best we can do, I guess. You can see the bodywork straightened up quite nicely for something that we did not try to change the world. One coat of primer, fixed the worst of it, fixed all the hail, and she should look nice. Can't wait to put the roof back on, start putting her back together. That's the area where the rust out was, and yeah, pretty content with that. So yeah, well, anyway, I guess this is probably all in the same video. So the caps are kind of all over the place at the front there because the fenders are just literally hung on there for painting. I have to take them back off so we can undercoat them on the inside. And I'm gonna line the driver's side one with aluminum foil or aluminum tape to reflect the heat so it doesn't warp again from the muffler. But we got her good enough for now. Still snowing today. Well, we got another month of snow. a lovely afternoon and had the door open all day while we reassembled the Renault 5. Got the back of the car coming together and the new top is on. I'm actually pretty pleased with that. Check it out. Nice. I've got the doors reassembled here with the undamaged door cards from the parts car. That is very good. Just a lot of detailing left to do. I want to go over the interior and clean it up nice, and I'm repairing these little pockets that go down here because they seem to be made out of recycled fly shit. Everything going reasonably well. Gonna pull the fenders off next, finish rust proofing under there. You can see I've got rust proofing dripping out of the bottom of the doors. Before I reassemble, I just fill everything with wax oil. Just let her just go until she's running out, because the bottoms of the doors are going to be the weak point. If you got the bottoms of the doors rust proof and the water can drain out of them, they'll be fine. Ditto here, rust proof. Before you put the lights in, just honk it all in there. Haven't put the wipers on yet because it's always a good policy to put a battery in the car. Make sure that you cycle the wipers once and make sure that you see them park, then put the wipers on. Because otherwise you got wipers skating across new paint. I've seen it happen. Nobody's happy about it. So still lots of cleaning to do, lots of parts to do. Menace dog is bored. What are you doing there, little doggy? Hey? Having fun today? No, hey? Dad's very boring, hey? Still lots of pieces to go, including the under trays. These go underneath the engine and transaxle. And here's the rear bumper filler panel, and you can see that that distance there is how far they spaced out the bumpers on the North American models. So not as bad as some cars. The Peugeot 604 I had bumpers that looked like they came off of a train. These are not too bad. The parts car is just saving the day. We got lots of, like, you know, it'd take a while to find that. Not anymore. Parts car, same with these, almost unobtainium, although apparently these are reproduced now. Nevertheless, I got old ones, real ones. Right, we had broken lenses, got new ones. Thank you guys who sent that stuff. It's awesome. Yeah, emblem back on. Just cleaning her up. Stripes and wheels, that's the big ones. That's going to really make a difference. And got all the hatch cleaned out and reassembled. Rear wiper motor tied down, rear washer bottle reassembled. Under the hood we have the washer bottle here repaired and finally back installed. Everything else, oh yeah, we gotta cork those guys off. And that's it. Still haven't put a battery in it since Dean and I drove it that night, so we'll see if we can get the Dean machine back for the inaugural test drive after paint and assembly. Yes, it's a bit weird that I'm this excited about this cheesiest Econo box of the 80s, but I think they're so much fun. I had the brown one out yesterday for the first time this year. Super fun. Had the Fraser out. Weather's really looking good. We got things to do this summer. Hey, Minnie, you want to go for supper? Let's go. Supper time. Let's go. All right, it's time to put the finishing touches on the Renault. We've been picking away at it for a couple of days and not making anybody watch a whole lot of the reassembly. Not really that exciting, but I thought it might be fun to see the stripes go on, because the car looks kind of like a fleet door crasher special right now, and the whole fun of these little cars was that, you know, you could soup them up with stickers and so on. So usually I would, you know, if this were a properly vintage car, it would be getting painted on stripes, of course, but I don't really feel too bad putting vinyl stripes on it, as that's what it would have had when it was new. These cars were economy cars, and they were deckled up with stickers to make them look more awesome. What I'm hoping to emulate here is an Alpine package that was available on these cars. I have the cool rims from that package, and I found a really cool picture of one of these cars with a red stripe package and the Alpine wheels, and so I think that's what we're going to go for. I am not going to put the Alpine decals or insignia on it because it's not a legit car, but the sticker package looked really cool. So we're going to go for a 1/4 inch red stripe on the side, and it also carries across to there's a bit of it on the hood and on the hatch. And after that, I may put the original sport sticker in here, but that's optional for now. Just want to get some stripes on because it's fun, and we're done most of the shit work, so let's have a few laughs, put a few stripes on this baby, and you know, we'll see how it goes. Probably start with the bottom stripe for no particular reason. Should go roughly through the center there. Okay. Pull it your way. Okay, you know what? Put the camera down.
Yeah.
Here.
Okay.
Okay, first stripe on. Now consult our picture again. This is not for Frankers today, okay, little buddy? Yes, I see you. I see you there. You're very nice. Okay, move. That looks good. And then I'm going to touch it here. Now I got a free hand. The ideal would be, right, that's close. I don't know
Yeah,
if I can
that
do
looks
it better than
good.
that.
That looks good to me. That's a 1.
That's close enough. I think I'm just going to bring it to a point right about here. And for that, we got to push this down. Okay, there's part 1. Let's see, sometimes these lights are distracting inside. Oops. And there we go. So much for watching the show this week. As always, we had a great time putting it together. I did not film as much as I normally would during the week because I spent a lot of the week putting the Renault together, and I understand and completely understand that it's not something that really means a lot to anybody who watches the show, and it's totally fine. Nevertheless, we are closing in on the finish of the little Renault 5. I'm really happy with it, and for something that I have almost no money into, and put it together in our spare time here, and did all the body and paint in less than 2 weeks. I'm very happy with it, and thank you for bearing with me as we build this one. I know it's not the usual fare around here, Although I guess it kind of is anyway, I suppose. You know, we do have other weirdo French junk to work on, but we also have a couple of very fun General Motors and Chrysler products coming up this summer. The winters here are long, and a lot of these jobs are much easier to do outside. So some of these little guys, we kind of like to whistle them through in the winter time when it's not as feasible to be pulling the bodies off some of these cars in the middle of the winter. As I record this, I'm getting the paint made up for the Buick 364 for my 59, and next week or so we should have that engine assembled and painted and ready to run in, so that will be fun. I've actually got another Buick engine to go on that stand the minute that this one comes off, so we're going to keep building engines in there one at a time. I got lots of cars to put them in. The upload time means that I have to keep it a little bit under an hour this week because I have to go to my neighbor Bob's wake tomorrow morning. I did a bit of a video about Bob a few weeks ago. He was the first car hoarder that I ever met when I was very young. Andy and I would ride our bicycles out to check out Bob's cars, and then all these years later I bought the house across the street from him. And anyway, now Bob is gone and I want to go in the morning and pay my respects. A terrific old fellow. Thanks, as always, to the patrons of the show. You guys make it possible to do this every week, and it's always very much appreciated. Thanks also to everybody who threw a little money in the old tip jar through the PayPal link. That is very kind of you guys, and every bit does help. Obviously, YouTube not particularly interested in promoting this channel. On that note, please double check if you are subscribed. YouTube unsubscribes a lot of people from this channel. Anyway, every time I ask, probably 50 people resubscribe to the channel. So please double check if you think you're subscribed, and if you're not subscribed, please do. I would like to get the channel to 100,000 one day. We very much appreciate it. Cheers. My sister Laura and I and my brother Andy are in front of the local city council this week to try to get them to reconsider where they're locating their hockey rink. And anyway, thank you guys all so much for your best wishes to Laura and Colin. And we'll keep everybody posted, but we do understand the nature of the situation, and they don't call it fighting City Hall for nothing. So we will do our best, and I will let you guys know how it goes. Thanks again so much for your support. Everybody, please have a terrific week, and thanks again, and we'll see you very soon. Cheers. Is a regular contributor.
Same old shit.
Fuck me, eh? It's like as soon as we go, yeah. Compressor
It's just
rave,
like
eh?
it's party time.
Thanks, Frankers. I got my shirt from DD Speed Shop on. Cheers to Dan.
Yeah, he doesn't like me because I kept yelling at him to stop chopping up four-door cars. No, he's cool. I'm just bugging.
Speaking of chopping up four doors,
We are gonna chop up a four-door.
We're chopping up four door this year.
The message the big boss man. I'm like, yeah, I'm not gonna be in right away. Kind of nauseous. And he's like, oh, you okay? Everything? Are you still gonna come in? Yeah, I'll still come in, but I need a few minutes.
When's the last time you were nauseous and not hungover? Grade 5.
Yeah.